Hello, Asia. Hello, world, wherever you are, joining us from various time zones in the region and around the world. And as I can see right now on my screens, you are joining us from the comforts of your home, your living rooms, maybe even your dining rooms, bedrooms, offices, and maybe even some of you driving to work. Well, we would like to welcome all of you to day two of the third Asia Pacific Clean Air Partnership Joint Forum. It is really, I'm really so excited to see hundreds of delegates joining us online from all over Asia Pacific. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Rico Hizon, and I will be your host and moderator for this session on addressing a burning problem, case studies to reduce air pollution from open burning. And, we want to recognize our partners for this session, Thailand Environment Institute, Live and Learn for Environment and Community, and the Global Alliance on Health and Pollution, who helped make this session possible. Thank you so much for your support. Well, this pandemic has really exposed a lot of vulnerabilities in our communities, in addition to its toll on our health and the economy. It also created an additional challenge in waste management, especially in developing countries in the region. And we have seen increased consumption of single-use products, not only with gloves and masks, but also single-use shopping bags and packaging from online deliveries. So the big question is, where will all of this waste go? Asia is already considered as the largest waste generating region. And without proper collection and disposable services, this waste may be dumped in open areas and burned. And this, my fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen, contributes to air pollution and is a serious threat to your health, to my health, to our family's health, to everyone's health. So we really have to think very seriously about solutions. And aside from the burning of solid waste, we also need solutions to address burning of agricultural crop residues. Many countries are now starting agricultural crop burning season, where farmers burn their fields to make way for a new crop. And this is a big source of air pollution in our Asia Pacific region. So, how can we turn things around to protect people's health, your health, my health, our climate, and safeguard livelihoods? And this is what we will be exploring today. Let us now watch a video on open burning of municipal waste and agricultural crop residues. Let's watch this.
Hi, I'm Maya. Because of the pandemic lockdowns, I started riding my bike. In my journeys, it made me wonder, are we burning our future? How do we address this problem? I met farmers along the way. This is what I learned from them. Here's the problem. Generally, waste isn't managed properly, and this contributes to air pollution. Open waste burning and organic waste in landfills release harmful chemicals such as dioxins, furans, methane, and fine particulates into the atmosphere. The burning of crop residue elevates particulate matter levels in the air, and it happens especially after harvest or before planting season. Here are some solutions. Regulations to ban burning of waste need to be complemented with improved solid waste management. We must improve the collection, separation, and disposal of waste that reduces the amount that is burned or dumped in landfills. We should be recovering organic waste for use as compost, or a source of bioenergy can improve soil fertility and provide an alternative source of renewable energy. There are many ways to reduce air pollution from agriculture. These include encouraging environmentally friendly production, providing technological support to improve farming systems, developing value-adding measures to make full use of agricultural byproducts and reduce waste, and identifying potential markets for these agricultural byproducts. The latest IPCC report is a wake-up call to everyone. It is a steep challenge, but we know that we must act now. Using innovative solutions with strong engagement of the private sector and farming and local communities, we can put out the fire for clear skies.
This video presentation has indeed been very informative and educational for all our delegates attending today. And now, let's start things off with a fireside chat on the status of open burning in the region and solutions that exist to address this problem. I'm joined today by three inspiring guests. Our first is the United Nations Resident Coordinator in Thailand. She has close to 3 decades of development experience focused on peace building, governance, and social policy. Let us all please welcome Ms. Geeta Sabarwal. Geeta, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thank you, Rico. Pleasure to be with you on the show.
And our next panelist, thank you so much, Geeta, is a leading air pollution scientist in Thailand. Let us all please welcome Dr. Savitri Garivate from the Joint Graduate School of Energy and Environment at King Mongkut's University of Technology. Dr. Savitri, thank you so much for joining us. How are you? Thank you so much, Dr. Savitri, for joining us. And finally, our third guest is a renowned air quality management expert in Thailand. He has been instrumental for the improvement of air quality, especially in the capital of Bangkok, a former Director General of the Pollution Control Department and now Senior Advisor at Thailand Environmental Institute. Let us all please welcome Dr. Supat Wangwong Watana. Dr. Supat, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Oh, I'm very fine, Rico. Good morning, everyone. Very pleased to join the chat today.
Wonderful to have all of you as our panelists for this session. Dr. Savitri, let me start off with you. What is the status right now of open burning in the Asia-Pacific region?
I would say that the situation, as you may already know, in the South and Southeast Asia, open burning generally includes forest fires, agriculture, and solid waste burnings. And in Southeast Asia, our study shows that more than 95% of open burning is related to human activities, and this is for the habitants or the farmers in order to increase their income, because these accelerate land preparation for new cropping or clearing of municipal solid waste. In Southeast Asia is of particular interest, of course, because our region is divided into two major parts. The Northern Hemisphere composed of Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam, and in the Southern Hemisphere of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, and in Singapore. And most of the countries are generally, I would say, agriculture-based economy, and therefore agriculture is very important for the GDP of this country. From satellite observation, we are more performance to detect large fires, such as forest fires than small fires. However, these observations reveal that open burning occurs during the dry season from January to early April, especially in the CLMVT, and from August to October in the Southern Hemisphere. And what we observe more is that actually the open burning of croplands occurs mainly in the northern hemisphere of Southeast Asia. And during the past 5 years, what we also see is the high number, both in the nighttime and daytime, were observed in Myanmar and Laos PDR. And even during the pandemic, since 2000, end of 2019, and especially last year, we still observe the same activities over Myanmar, Laos PDR, Cambodia, while actually what we observe for the Southern Hemisphere is only before the pandemic. And,
so COVID, Dr. Savitri,
yes,
did not really affect air pollution from open burning?
The air pollution are also observed, but more in the overall country-wise. I would say both in the region where we have agricultural land connected to cities. For example, in Bangkok metropolitan region, we still have a haze period, even though we are under the pandemic already. The only clear period that we can observe is during the lockdown last year, that there's really the lockdown reduce all activities, and therefore no more human activity unless the long-range transport from outside.
All right, thank you so much for your insights, Dr. Savitri. We will be coming back to you. Let me get over now to Geeta. It seems, Geeta, that open burning is a very important issue and still was a problem even during this ongoing COVID crisis. What kind of support, Geeta, can the United Nations provide to help countries continue to address this open burning problem?
Thank you, Rico. Let me begin by saying that it's a pleasure to join Dr. Savitri and Dr. Supat this morning. They are the technical experts in the field of biomass burning. And I'm also very glad to see Kun Barawat joining the panel discussion, as we often dialogue on this issue of biomass burning with him and his team. Now, having grown up in Delhi, where the city tends to be covered with smog and largely over the winter months, largely due to biomass burning, I understand the impact that it produces, and also understand the imperatives of farmers who engage in these practices. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to visit the central provinces in Thailand during their harvesting season, where rice happens to be the main crop for these small farm holders. Despite the ban, I saw many fields that have been torched overnight. I also saw many fields that were flooded with water to decompose the rice stalk using fungi. In my meeting with farmers, the farmers expressed their deep frustration at the lack of financial resources to adopt alternate technology to prepare their plots in time for the next season. Now, having said this, we all know, and as Dr. Savitri said, Rico, biomass burning is a significant contributor to CO2 emissions here in Thailand, obviously, in addition to industrial and traffic emissions, right? And this makes it extremely imperative for all of us, government, private sector, civil society players like the UN, to work together to find market-orientated, sustainable, and evidence-driven solutions that need to be tailored to the needs of both small and large farmers. And very important, while doing this, we should not be burdening farmers with additional costs. right? Now, let me very quickly and briefly talk about the UN support, the question that you asked, Rico. As you know, the UN brings together a host of technical agencies with work ranging from development and human rights to peace and security. And it's this breadth of skill sets that the UN brings together enables us to provide integrated and comprehensive policy advice on complex issues such as biomass burning. Where we need to address the social dimensions, the economic, the environment, and in this case, even the transboundary dimensions. And it's this comprehensiveness that I would say is UN's unique strength. Now, very specifically, there are 5 key areas where we can add value, right, as the UN. The first is, as the UN, we invest in harnessing science to generate the evidence base and offer science-based solutions. For example, through the UN Economic and Social Commission of Asia Pacific, or what we call UN ESCAP, we access satellite imagery on a daily basis to understand the pattern of biomass burning, not just in Thailand, but even the broader region, right? We also have access to chemical fingerprinting of smoke, which enables us to break down and analyze what the smoke consists of and what is contributing to smoke, right? We will soon have access to what we call GEMS. And this is where I need to read out what GEMS stands for. This is the Geostationary Environment Monitoring Spectrometer, which will enable us to monitor air quality from the space while combining it with local air quality monitoring at the ground level to support near real-time pollution monitoring. Now, with such in-depth analysis, we are able to track crop burning. We are able to locate the exact geographical position where burning is happening and map it onto weather patterns to predict the movement of smoke across the region, right? So this is how we are bringing to bear science. Secondly, as the UN, we invest in building technical capacities across countries. And this is largely to analyze, assess, create data banks to support policymakers. For example, as I just mentioned, in Thailand, we are increasing the number of air quality monitoring stations, and that requires training. We also need training to unpack the satellite imagery, understand the satellite imagery, right? So all of this, that's the kind of capacity building that we do at the country level. Third, as the UN, we also leverage science to offer climate smart farming practices. And this kind of work at the farm level is largely led by UN agencies such as FAO, UNDP, and UNEP, based on good practices from across the globe. For example, we know that deep plowing is one solution for leftover rice stalk that can then be decomposed into soil nutrients. We also know that using cost-effective decomposers, as I saw in the central province, can also break down, your stock, your biomass stock within a couple of weeks. Similarly, using agricultural biomass for mulching is another very sustainable, easy and sustainable practice. However, it's very important that there is no one-size-fits-all sustainable farming practice. Whatever practice we propose needs to be tailored to suit the farmland, suit the region, and suit the local circumstances. And Rico, this is very important because in Thailand, for example, when we are recommending solutions for the Northeast Thailand, where water is scarce, right? Your solutions are going to look different from that of the central region, right? So you need to bear that thing in mind. Now, fourth, as the UN, we leverage its convening power to co-create platforms for dialogue with the private sector to scale up market-led solutions. And this is where our dialogue with Khun Borawoods becomes important. We recognize that the private sector comes with a deep understanding of financial incentives and the ability to scale up market-driven solutions. So we in Thailand, we are in dialogue with amongst the largest producers of rice, sugarcane, maize, through the Global Compact Network to create the right incentives for farmers to move away from biomass burning, right? And to see how we can organize farmers to share resources using harvesters, other machinery, and even leveraging technology in support of biomass electricity and biofuels.
Yeah.
And finally, Rico, before you stop me, my final point, my fifth point is about how the UN also invests in creating standards and norms for sustainable farming to mobilize farmers, to enable them to contribute towards progressing the sustainable development goals. And a classic example here is the Sustainable Rice Platform, which has a verified label and has been supported by UNEP and other members from across the world. And this kind of a platform links stakeholders from researchers to production to trade and consumption. And it also benefits farmers by reducing their input costs and offering them secure markets and secure livelihoods. So the Sustainable Rice Platform is a good example of how collaboration works across sectors to support small farmers. So let me conclude with one statement. From where I sit, I believe that farms are complete and productive ecosystems. Nothing generated on the farm is a waste. What is required is a change in approach from policymakers, from farmers, and private sector to realize the smart productivity. I'm going to pause here, Rico, and hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Geeta. Definitely, these are great platforms and initiatives being undertaken. But over the past year and a half, we have seen governments, local governments, the private and the public sector, their resources have really been depleted because they've all been diverted to the COVID-19 response. So tell us, Geeta, where can we now source the money, the financing that is needed to implement available solutions?
Thank you, Rico. Let me address this issue of financing, Rico. And there are no easy answers there, right?
Yes.
But from where we sit at the UN, we invest a lot in South-South triangular cooperation. And the idea here is to work alongside governments in Asia Pacific and member states from developed countries to harness science through exactly what I said, through satellite imagery, space-derived data, chemical fingerprinting of smoke, and to transfer technology. And the idea here is that this kind of South-South triangular cooperation enables us to build capacities of member states in this region. And for example, through ESCAP, the UN is working with the Republic of Korea to share air pollution data with countries across Southeast Asia and also providing training on data sourcing. Now, this is a source of technical assistance for governments and academia that is very specialized and more long-term in nature. Now, besides this, the UN also relies a lot on project-based funding for investing in pilot projects in collaboration with governments, civil society. And here we largely focus on climate-smart, sustainable farming practices that I mentioned earlier, led by FAO, UNDP, and UNEP. These pilot projects, however, for them to be effective, need to be mainstreamed by government and the private sector to take them to scale. The UN, through UNEP, also works in close partnership with bankers and investors to support the adoption of sustainability principles, standards, and norms for banking and investment. This ensures that the lending operation of bankers prioritizes green projects and helps us reduce CO2 emissions and thereby addressing challenges like biomass burning. For example, in Thailand, we've got 22% of the banking sector that has signed up to these sustainability principles, which means that a total investment of roughly over $200 billion is linked to green kind of supporting green investments. And finally, in Thailand, the UN also works in close partnership with the private sector, like I mentioned, the Global Compact Network Thailand, to establish firm commitments in support of SDGs and climate change measures. Last year, the private sector in our dialogue, they committed to over $40 billion for a 10-year, for the decade of action to advance SDGs. And we are hoping that this year, the private sector will commit itself to more ambitious targets for reducing CO2 across its business operations, which will obviously go a long way in scaling up some of these sustainable and market-oriented solutions that I spoke about earlier. So let me sum up, Rico, for you. UN's strategy for financing is to secure technical assistance, invest in pilot projects, and unlock sustainable financing from government, the private sector, banks, and investors to address some of these urgent climate-related actions. It's these collective efforts that are good for farmers, business, and governments, and absolutely essential for long-term prosperity of the region. So I'm going to pause here and hand it over to you, Rico.
Thank you so much, Geeta, for sharing with us the initiatives of the United Nations to mitigate open burning in the region. Let's now take a look at actions that we can take. And Dr. Supat, I would like to ask you, what are the main solutions to address the issue of open burning in the region?
Okay, thank you, Rico, for the question. First of all, we have to understand why the farmer practice open burning of crop residue. In fact, burning is the easiest, fastest, and cheapest way to get rid of crop residue after harvesting. It's kind of labor-intensive, time-consuming, and costly to collect and remove the residue from the field. Time is also very precious to the farmer, since they want to do as many crop cultivation as possible in a year. Transporting collected bulk residue is also an issue, and this is why burning is normally practiced by the farmer. To address the issue of open burning of crop residues in Thailand, the main solution include developing technologies and methods to do deep plowing, as mentioned by Geeta, in order to incorporate residue into the soil, in particular rice residue, and applying effective microorganisms to accelerate the digestion process in order to reduce the time consumed in digesting the residue. Secondly, making use of crop residues to generate additional income for the farmer, such as making compost, used for cultivation of mushroom, used as biomass fuel for energy production, both heat and electricity, and making household and other value-added products. Thirdly, developing technology and machinery to help farmers to efficiently and effectively manage crop residue, including cutting, collecting, and transporting crop residue to reduce time consumed. For example, the machine to remove sugarcane leaves so that the bare cane can be cut easier. Financial and management support are also provided. Kun Warawat and Kun Samat will tell you more about this in the field of sugarcane. And fourthly, promoting multiple crop cultivation instead of single crop cultivation. Lastly, the economic incentive also provide to encourage farmers not to burn sugarcane leaf before harvesting by setting the price of non-burned sugarcane higher than the burned sugarcane. By the cane sugar factory, Kun Warawut from the Midpond will tell you more on that, with financial support from the government. And if burning is unavoidable, a system is being developed to manage, prescribe, and control burning.
Dr. Supat, basically, we did not cover in detail forest fires and wildfires, which are also affecting many countries in the region. how is Thailand strengthening its efforts to address forest fires in the country?
In fact, the Forestry and National Park Department always confirm that forest fires are caused by human. Very few occasions caused by natural. And in the northern part of Thailand, most of the forests are the deciduous forests. So they discard leaves every dry season and accumulate underground and become good biomass fuel for forest fire. So in Thailand, the forest fire are being addressed by two-pronged approach. The first prong is the sustainable forest and forest fire management, which include many activities such as managing biomass fuel in the forest. This include prescribe and control early burning of accumulated biomass fuel in the forest, using application fuel management registration to ensure that the burning will not cause haze pollution. And early collection, this is the new policy by the Minister of Natural Resources and Environment and being practiced early this year. The early collection of biomass fuel from the forest by the people, and the collected biomass is used to make compost, producing energy and other value-added use, making fire break to prevent the spreading and stopping of the fire in case of forest fire occur. And there is also applying fire management decision support system, advanced monitoring and locating forest fire by using satellite and unmanned aircraft, 24 hours smart patrol ranger for any unlawful activity in the forest, and deployment of special forest fire fighting and suppression unit once forest fire is detected, and mobilize aerial firefighting and suppression as needed. The second pronged approach is basically the community and people approach by engaging community in every aspect of forest and forest fire management with financial support to the people as well. This includes forest management by the community, collection of biomass fuel from the forest, making fire breaks, monitoring and locating forest fire, and assisting the forestry department and national park department in fighting the fire and suppressing the fire. And the last thing is allowing people to use the deteriorated forest land for living, but not to own the land. So they can grow, do agriculture, but they're also required to do good agriculture practice as well in order to use the land.
Thank you so much, Dr. Srupat, for sharing lessons and the best practices from Thailand. And for sure, our delegates who are joining us right now for this session have learned a lot from our experts for this session. So thank you, Geeta, Dr. Savitri, and Dr. Supat for your insights. And from what you have said over the past half hour, it is really clear that business as usual is not acceptable, and we need to scale up solutions to put out the fire. And now let us continue this conversation. We have with us right now esteemed panelists from across Asia Pacific who will be sharing with us on-ground solutions to open burning in their respective communities. Let me introduce the panelists to all of you. First up is the Director of Strategy and Planning Division of the Office of the Cane and Sugar Board in Thailand. And one of their strategies is focusing on the reduction of air pollution from burning cane for the sustainable and environment-friendly industry. Let us all please welcome Mr. Samart Noivun. Samart, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for giving me the a chance to share our experience in this matter.
our next panelist. Thank you so much, Samart. Our next panelist is the Vice President of Corporate Sustainability of Municipal Sugar Corporation. Let us all please welcome Mr. Warawat Shriyuk. Mr. Shriyuk,
Morning.
great to have you with us.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me to join the panel discussion, where I share the experience of the Midpon did about to promote the fresh cane in Thailand.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shriyuk. Also joining us is the head of Project Management and Communication Division of Hanoi's Environmental Protection Agency. Let us all please welcome Miss Thuy Lê Than. Ms. Thuy, great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm from Hanoi Environmental Protection Agency, and I'm very happy to share with you some experience of Hanoi, Vietnam, right after the crop is coming in Hanoi.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thuy. And finally, we have the head of the Division of Pollution and Environmental Damage Control from the Environment Agency of Central Kalimantan. Let us all please welcome Ms. Murty Ilona. Ms. Murty, thank you so much for joining us for this session. All right, let us start off our panel discussion. Let's start off with you, Mr. Samart. You are from the Office of the Cane and Sugar Board. Please share with us about Thailand's experience on how it is addressing open burning from sugarcane.
Thank you, Rico. I will share and answer all the questions as much as I can. Actually, our final goal to stop burning or to completely reduce the number of burnt cane by 2024. But during the time, we will try to gradually reduce the number of burnt cane in each year by less than 10% in 2022, less than 5% in 2023, and will be 0% in 2024 as scheduled. However, I can deny that these targets are very challenging because we have only 2 to 3 years left. But if we can do it, it will change our industry in a better way. And the way that OCSB implement to reduce burning sugarcane field is divided to 3 main ways. The first one, to create mutual understanding in the process of fresh sugarcane harvesting between stakeholders. The second one, to facilitate and assist farmers in fresh cane harvesting. And the last one, to set and enforce related regulations and laws. Before going to the current progress, let me take you out back to 2017 to 2018. The number of fresh sugarcane is around 40 to 50 million tons, while the number of burnt sugarcane is around 80 to 90 million tons. It shows that the number of burnt cane is very, very high and much higher than fresh sugarcane. But from our latest progress is the previous year, the number of fresh cane is still at 49 million tons, while the number of burnt cane is down to 17 million tons. Here's our big step of progress, and I hope we together will accomplish the goal in 2024. Thank you.
And Mr. Samart, tell us what technology solutions, such as machinery, does the government provide to help farmers shift their practices from open burning?
Our technological solution is to provide better access to machine learning by allowing farmers to borrow leaf running machines which the Office of the Cane and Sugar Board had prepared at our regional area. And as a result, this helps farmers shift the practice from burning sugarcane fields to harvesting fresh cane. From the current data, we have provided 300 of leaf planting machines at our regional center. And one machine can use for 1.6 to 2.4 hectare per day. So farmers can harvest fresh cane at 40,000 to 50,000 hectare per crop year. While currently both farmers and millers have about 2,000 of all size of sugarcane harvesters. And in the year, its harvesting capacity is at 20,000 tons per machine, which can harvest sugarcane at around 30 to 40 million tons, or 30 to 40% of sugarcane output in each year. Apart from the machinery, we also have two applications that we hopefully it helps reducing the burning as well, which are firstly an application for agricultural machinery service hub provided for entrepreneurs and farmers called Auto App that will help farmers get better access to machine entrepreneurs and services. The last one is the GIS app, used for collecting information related to the field, tracking cane processing from the field to the mills, and monitoring a field's burning situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samart. We will be getting back to you because, of course, offering technological solutions to farmers is one incentive. What about financial incentives? And we will ask you that question if it is indeed working to stop open burning in a moment. But first, let's cross over now and get the perspective of the Mr. Warawat from Mitirapol Sugar Corporation. And I'd like to ask you, sir, what efforts has the company put in place to contribute to reducing open burning of sugarcane?
Thank you, Rico. I may start with the root cause of the cane burn. Actually, farmer they don't want to burn their field, but there are reasons. So the main reason is that the problem of the labor shortage in the agriculture sector. So I mean that currently labor for harvesting normally we use the neighboring country labor such as the Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, or something like that. But from this situation, the labor shortage may become seriously after the COVID pandemic or something like that. The other reason is that burn cane harvesting. I mean that if the farmer burn their field, they persuade the labor to come to their field because the labor they can get the 3 times harvesting by their labor compared with the fresh cane. Actually, in number, they can earn more money 3 times from the burn cane field. So if we want to tackle this problem, we have to think about the mechanization. I mean the harvester. So I will show you the number of how effectively Thailand to cope with the burn cane. Can you see my slide? For total Thailand, actually last year we have about 1.73 million hectares or equal to total cane about nearly 70 million tons. We have the progressive petty results of the to attack the burn cane. Last year, total Thailand, we got allowed the 26% of burn cane. On the right-hand side is our midpoint try to align with the authority target. Last year, we have the burn cane allowed 24%. This coming COP 2021, we target at the same of the authority target to have the burn cane not more than 10%. And the 2022, we target to have the no burn cane. So how we tackle this the burn cane? We have the main reason of the labor shortage. So we have many initiatives to cope with that.
Right.
Some initiatives come from the government. Some initiatives by the sugar mills.
Yeah.
We
So,
have
Mr.
sorry.
Yeah, so Mr. Shuyok, do you think that the government will be able to attain its goal to stop burning by 2022 with incentives such as technology and financial incentives? Do you think you'll be able to attain that national target to stop sugarcane burning by next year?
I believe that the government target will be achieved by the collaboration with the all stakeholders. I mean that sugarcane farmer, sugar mills, authority, and the NGO or the something like the UN. They try to promote to reduce the PM 2.5. Actually, to promote the mechanization, the government also have the good initiative. They promote the financing. The one who want to buy the harvester, they can get the 2% of the finance to buy harvester. This is the good incentive, and the key success is not what we have the harvester. The key success is that how to utilize the harvester. Actually, I have the number. For Thailand, average usage of the harvester is around the 12,000 tons per day. Compared with the Australia, they have minimum usage of 25,000 per day. So it's the sugar mill to arrange this. Something like, we have to prepare land. I mean, prepare field before harvester. Land consolidation it should be, mostly of Thai sugarcane farmer can own only the, small land around 10 hectares. If we want to use a harvester to utilize it effectively, we have to, land combine to more bigger, something like the 70s, 80 hectares, that they can effectively make use of the harvester. This is the sugar mills priority to promote the sugarcane farmer to land consolidation or something like that. The one thing that I will show you the initiative that my company Midpon try to promote the fresh cane. A few years ago, PM 2.5 is seriously in Thailand. Many authority, government try to promote every initiative. So Midpon, we believe that if we not tackle to the root cause, we cannot solve the problem. So we promote to buy fresh cane. We promote fresh cane to buy the cane leaves at live store from farmer. We buy it at 33 US dollar per ton from the farmer who deliver the cane leaf, not burn them to the mill. We use as the raw material for the biomass electricity. Last year, we bought it around 300,000 tons, or equally 10 million US dollar. And we try to promote this in the next cropping years as well.
All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Shayok. I would like to get back to Mr. Samar to basically wrap up our discussion about open burning of sugarcane in Thailand. Mr. Samar, let me ask you the same question I asked Mr. Shayok. Do you think that providing technological assistance and financial incentives is one way to help encourage farmers to not burn their crops? And do you think will Thailand be able to attain its national target to stop sugarcane burning by 2022? Briefly.
As Kun Warawat had said, one of the root cause is the labor shortage. However, lack of machine is also the root cause.
Okay, so Thailand will not be able to attain its national target by 2022 due to lack of technology solutions, due to lack of machines?
I hope to try to finding solution to reach the target. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samart and Mr. Shayuk, and sharing with us the experience in Thailand. Okay, let's now shift gears a bit and cross over now to Ms. Thuy from Hanoi. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Thuy. It is estimated that about 300,000 tons of straw is burned annually in Vietnam. What has the Hanoi government done to stop the burning of rice straw residues?
Thank you, Rico, for your question. Actually, the straw burning or the open burning just started to be concerned by the government right after increasing complaints from the local people when the crop is coming and the city was covered with the smoke. And this is increased as well. So since 2017, a very urgent meeting from the government with the decision that we have to stop burning the straw. And Hanoi EPA was assigned to estimate the current situation of the straw management in Hanoi City. And according to our study, in 2017, 39% of straw was burned in 2017. And right after that, we together with a relevant including Live and Learn Vietnam, we make a network to engage the government, the cities, the local authorities and scientists to find ways to pilot some measures to test for which we call as campaigns for the no burning fields. And with these results, in 2020, the city immediately released a Decree 15 to banning the straw burning and the solid waste burning as well. And with the timeline that by 2020, we will stop to burn the straw. So what happened now? We also use some technologies to observe and monitor the situation. And with 39% of burning in 2020 and in 2017, in 2020, the situation was improved with only 20% was burned. However, now for the first crop, the burning is increased again. We just think that maybe about the COVID and farmers stay at home. And like another speaker has told that it is the easiest and shortest way to do that they burn. So the percentage of burning increased to 34.2% again in the first crop of 2021. And with this, there are three groups of measures that the government, the city as well, we have done so far. First one, we told the farmer about the impact of burning with the health issue. Secondly, we together with Live and Learn and the National University of Science, we use some models to make a dispersion map with the aim to show the pollution from the burning in every district of Hanoi City with different colors. And for every city meeting, we show to the leader about the situation to promote the responsibilities of the districts. And another intersectional checking team also come through every district to find out. And for the technical measures as well, we use some favorite methods that from the piloting phase that we've done, and now for the bioproduct and for the rolling and dressing machine are the favorite measures among the districts that have the burning. And we try to use some subsidized finance to help to support the farmer on these measures. So hopefully by the end of this year, the situation will be improved a little bit. Thank you.
When you say a little bit, by how much will it be reduced, the reduction in burning of municipal waste?
Actually, to tell you the exact number, we have to wait for the tool that we are using. However, actually, the second crop is a long time before the new coming crop. So hopefully, the percentage of the burning will be increased under 20%. It is from our forecasting and estimation.
But has it been a big challenge, Ms. Toy, to be able to convince farmers and stakeholders to reduce the tons of waste being burned on an annual basis?
Actually, it is. We have a lot of challenges and difficulties to convince the farmer, because you may know that burning is a long life traditional measure. Like other people have said that it is very easy, very fast, and very cheap to burn immediately, and they don't want to pay any money on using another measures. So we have to try together with some scientists to convince them by the health issue, the health impact. We try to show them. And just very short information for you that we've just finished a study with the public how can we say medical universities on studying the health exposed from the PM2.5 in Hanoi City. So with this result, we can show them about the potential death from the air pollution and other figures to tell, so that once the farmer who are afraid of dying like COVID, they won't change the habit, hopefully.
And have other cities in Vietnam, Ms. Toy, adopted the best practices and lessons learned from the city of Hanoi that you have already put in place?
Actually, since 2017 now, 4 years, we've organized so many workshops every year to share our experience, and also a lot of newspaper and televisions post about our experience. And at the moment, some neighboring province like Bắc Ninh and Hải Dương also contact us, and they are going to apply these measures. I think that after the COVID, because now most of the cities now focusing on the COVID control rather than for the environmental issue. So hopefully sharing, networking going to be the good measures to disseminate our experience.
Thank you so much for sharing lessons from Hanoi and the best practices. Ms. Tui, thank you so much. Let's move on now and speak with Ms. Murthy from the Environment Agency from Central Kalimantan. Ms. Murthy, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, what has the regional government of Central Kalimantan done to address this open burning problem?
Thank you, Mr. Rico. The problem of open burning in Central Kalimantan is forest and land fires, especially in the peatlands. The area of Central Kalimantan province is more than 50 million hectares, with a peat area or more than 3 million hectares or 90%. In 2015 or to 2019, forest and land fires occurred in Kalimantan Island, covering an area of 1.6 million hectares. About 800,000 hectares or 50% occurred in Central Kalimantan. Of the total burn area, 44% was on peatland and 6% on mineral land. Fire on peatlands, smoke disaster that is very detrimental to health and has various aspects for of people's lives. The government of Central Kalimantan Province does not want a similar incident to occur. Many steps have been taken by provincial government of Central Kalimantan to address this problem, including for number one, when the dry season coming, the regional government will immediately issue this decree for the determination of emergency alert status for forest and land fires in Central Kalimantan Province. Number two, the status determination is followed up with the establishment of a task force structure of the command post for handling forest and land fire disaster emergency. The task force consists of all regional apparatus organizations. There are Regional Disaster Management Agency, Indonesian Armed Force, Indonesian Police, as well as the community. The team is divided into the planning task force for operation, task force for logistics, and task force for finance. Number three, collect and verify fire spot data. If there is hotspot information, a ground check is carried out in the field based on the existing task force at the respective regional authorities level, district or city or province. When there is a fire spot on the open burning incident, a ground check will be carried out to the field and identified by the task force. If land access can be reached, an attempt is made extinguish it by the land task force. If it cannot be accessed by the land task force, the air task force will carry out extinguishing by helicopter waterbooming. If the person who did the burning is identified, the law enforcement team will take action to investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And Ms. Murthy, how important, in your view, is the availability of data and the use of geospatial data to help efforts in addressing this open burning problem in Central Kalimantan?
Okay. It is very important. The
Mm.
availability of data with geospatial application is as an early warning system data instrument, providing information on extreme dryness, global warming, and hotspots. The application also provides further information after forest and land fires, especially related to information on the area burned or land cover. The data is very important as a basic for determining the initial step of planning and operational action for instances. For prevention, mitigation, control, and mitigation of forest and land fires. Today, I want to say a big thank for Tambuhab Sinta Foundation, Pure Earth, and the Global Alliance for Health and Pollution for providing GIS training for to the Environmental Agency of Central Kalimantan Province and District City. We hope the training can improve the technical capacity of government officials in implementing early warning system, and so we can monitor pollution and environmental damage accordingly. With geospatial information, we can improve our prevention effort. Hopefully, the negative impact of the pollution and its environmental damage can be minimized.
And of course, everyone knows that there are challenges and problems along the way, particularly in the geospatial application data in pollution monitoring. How are you trying to address this, Ms. Murthy, these challenges in using geospatial application data in pollution monitoring?
Okay. The training only involves a few staff, while we have environmental agency in 14 regency or city in Central Kalimantan Province. We hope to get more the training season involving more technical personnel in district or city in Central Kalimantan. Most of our computer are not booked with the lack capacity. Not all of environmental agency staff have a good computer, a computer that can run the geospatial application. While this application requires regular practice to be mastered, the exercise or real data collection cannot be done with limited computer or notebook capacity, as the might not be compatible with the update geospatial application requirement.
Thank you very much, Ms. Murthy, for sharing with us Central Kalimantan's lessons learned and best practices in how we can resolve open burning. And these lessons will definitely be of help to many of our delegates right now who are online across the region. And of course, we have learned a lot from our speakers from Thailand, from Vietnam, and Indonesia. But there's a question here from one of our delegates, particularly for the open burning issue in Thailand. And Mr. Shriyok, let me address this to you. Please clearly articulate what solutions have been effective to reduce burnt sugarcane, and do you expect a zero burn? Is it really realistic for Thailand to attain its target of zero burn by 2022, or do you think that this goal should be moved forward? Mr. Shriyok.
Thank you. Actually, there are many challenges. as I present the previously, labor shortage is the key reason, and the mechanization is the solution. But the reason, the solution behind that we should utilize the harvester. For my own opinion, I think that we can achieve the target, and we should many support from both sugar mill and the government. We should expand the harvester nationwide. So not so easy. The harvester is not cheap. Actually, it's allowed the $400,000 each. So smallholder farmer cannot afford. So we have to promote the large scale holder farmer to use the harvester and arrange the large scale holder farmer to service to the medium and small scale holder at the reasonable price. And secondly, I think that the government agency, they are the power or have the opportunity to fulfill the target. In Thailand, we have the cooperatives nationwide. They are located each province. If they can promote to land consolidation and motor pool, harvester, they cannot afford to buy by themselves. They have to ask the cooperative to buy and to arrange. If we have the ecosystem, something like this, so I believe that we can achieve the target. And finally, I think that the main player is the sugar mills. They have to more manage or to help the sugarcane in terms of both financing and non-financing. So my answer is that I do hope that we can achieve the target.
You do hope that this target could be achieved by next year. So you believe that the political will is there. There is collaboration among all stakeholders in the private and the public sector for this to be attained. But share with us, Mr. Shriyok, is there a particular province in Thailand that is ahead of schedule, that is doing its part, that is committed to really stop open burning?
Normally in Thailand, we have the sugarcane in northeastern and the central area of Thailand, mostly come from their area. So in northeastern, last year, they show the quite impressive the result. They can improve the burn cane a lot because some reason that sugar mill, they provide the guarantor of the financing of the harvester, and the authority, they take seriously enforce the legal. Anyone who burn the cane in field, they will charge legally immediately or something like that. So the combination of the initiative, that's why the figures of the burn cane is pretty good in last year, 26%.
So apart from technological solutions, machinery, and financial incentives, what else needs to be done? What other incentives can be implemented to be able to fast track this initiative and for the country to attain its target by next year, which is just like less than 1 year and a half away? It has to be achieved by December 31, 2022.
As many ones said that it's an easy way for the farmer to burn their field to get rid of the crop residue. But we have to know that why they burn. For example, that Midpon tried to purchase their cane leaf to something like the incentive to, if they don't burn, they can sell their cane leaf to us. Most of the sugar mill in Thailand, they have their own biomass electricity. They use the bagasse as a material of the energy of the biomass electricity. So cane leaf also. So we try to promote. We bought it at 1,000 baht a ton, the same price of we buy cane from them. But actually they got only half because they have to the cost of transportation and collecting the cane leaf by themselves 50%. So if we can have a solution to reduce the cost of transportation, the cost of collecting cane leaf, so this is incentive for them as well. Support the government. Government deduct the 30 baht for the burn cane and to pay more 30 baht for the fresh cane, but not enough. So you have to many initiatives to combine to make sure that you will hit the target in the next few years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shriyok. Ms. Toy, let me get back to you about the experience in Hanoi. What additional incentives, initiatives can the Hanoi government implement to further reduce, maybe reduce all the way to zero burning tons of straw that is being burned annually?
Actually, I think that now the government, now they're fully aware of the problem and the situation. But the thing is, as I told earlier, that one of the challenges is the local authorities' responsibilities. By 2021, this year, some districts also stopped burning with zero burning, but others still burn and increase. So what happened here? What are the problem here? That is the responsibilities, the willingness, and the commitment of the local authorities. So to stop completely the straw burning, we need a very strong and commitment and responsibilities of the districts, of the local authorities. It is the first one. And another one is the strong belief. It is not easy at all to change a belief or a habit of the farmers. So how to train it in a very short time, just 4 or 3 years? As I told you, that health issue is a very, very important to tell people. We say that it is the experience from the pandemic now. People are so scared of dying, of death. And air pollution is a visible death as well. So if we show them about the problem of health impact from straw burning, and people are aware of it, and we have the strong commitment of the local authority, I think it's good. So right now, the city have to try to promote the responsibilities of the districts in this issue. As long as we solve this problem, I hope that we can do it.
And I do know that with the commitment, with the passion and love for our environment, everyone can do it in the Asia Pacific region. Thank you so much to our wonderful panelists from Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia for sharing your best practices, your experiences on solutions to open burning. And for everybody watching us right now, it gives us indeed renewed hope that there are better ways that will not compromise our environment. It is now up to us, you, me, everyone here, to amplify the change you're making and spread it across the region. On behalf of our partners, Thailand Environment Institute, Live and Learn for Environment and Community, and the Global Alliance on Health and Pollution, thank you so much for joining us for this session on addressing a burning problem, case studies to reduce air pollution from open burning. And do keep an eye on the website, cleanairweek.org, where we will be posting our content so you can watch it on demand. And don't go anywhere. I know we've been on for 90 minutes now, and you need a toilet break, but don't leave your laptops or your phones, because we will be coming back to start another very important session, and it is entitled Clean Air, Healthy Cities, Investing in Green and Sustainable Recovery. So don't leave, okay? Stay online, because we will have another very, very exciting session for all of you. And we'll take this 5-minute break. I'm going to take my break as well, and we will be right back. So stay tuned for our next session. Remember, our next session is Clean Air, Healthy Cities, Investing in Green and Sustainable Recovery. Certainly a lot to learn as well. Lessons and best practices from various cities across the region. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in 5 minutes. Bye for now. I'm Rico Hizon, your moderator.